Season 2, Episode 1, brand new year, new season of Chef's Kiss with me, Sheff, and John LaLoja. What's up, John? Happy New Year.
What's up, buddy? Happy New Year to you. You're now a father of three after having twins.
Yes.
Before we get into all this stuff, it's nice to talk with you. It's been a bit.
Yeah, I wanted to
just
save
wanna,
it for the pod.
yeah, I just want to check in. How are you doing personally with three kids under the age of what? Three?
Under the age of 2. My daughter just turned 2 days ago.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not good.
Are you doing okay? Are you struggling?
Nope, I am struggling. Very much so. Very much mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, struggling on all fronts. So it is very hard to create content and be productive and put a smile on your face and be a father all at the same time when you just do not feel good at all times.
And
So
they're probably like outside. Like the second you're done with this, you're gonna go outside your door and have to be like dad again, probably.
yeah, my daughter's at daycare. The twins are here with my wife. She's gonna go back to work soon. So yeah, just feeling a lot of pressure on stuff. Trying to find obviously more work, stuff like
Sure.
that. So yeah, dude, it is not easy. So it's a fake smile, but it's still a smile.
Well, you look great. That hat is dope. I
Thanks.
tried to grow out a beard because I want to become. My New Year's resolution is become more like you.
Sure.
And I feel
Well,
like,
be careful what you wish for.
I feel like this is step one. I don't know if I'll do the twins thing. One's fine.
Yeah.
But I thought this would just be an easy way to transition into it.
Well, you do have the same hat, correct?
I don't have that hat.
Oh, I thought you have the blue one. Sorry, the other blue Cubs one, correct?
Yeah, I have that hat. I also have this sick All Star hat
Yep.
from 1990. I love this hat.
I have that one in black. But that is a winner right there, John. I want to
We
ask you
could,
how you're doing, but that was a good segue into the Cubs stuff. Tell me
yeah,
how
for
you're
sure.
doing.
Do you really want to know how I'm doing, or you want to get into the Cub stuff? You just pretending? You pretending to be
Well,
a good person right here?
it's pretty rude. You ask me how I'm doing, and then I'm just like, yeah, let's talk about the Cubs.
I appreciate it. It was a test to see if you passed as a decent human being, and you did.
Yeah,
Congrats.
thank you. So obviously, I know you've been through a lot of struggles through this past year, but it seems like things are on their way up, and
Yeah,
the light is there. And you were just in an exotic location. Tell me
yeah.
about that.
Doing well. We had some family over, so my son has had some health problems in the past, and we were unfortunately in the hospital last year for all of our holidays. So he's good news. He's doing a lot better, as well as you can be. So very very proud of him. He's a tough little guy. His name's Theo, and he's doing great. And so because we were in the hospital for all of our holidays last year, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, we actually were admitted the day before Thanksgiving, so they all really sucked. We decided we want to stay here for the holidays, so I hosted Thanksgiving here with all of my family, which was a blast. And then at Christmas, my wife's parents, Alex, her parents flew in from Seattle and stayed with us for a couple weeks during Christmas time, which was awesome. And then for New Year's, I had a friend get married in Cancun,
Mhm.
so we were down there for a week. We went down there a little bit early for New Year's and the wedding, and I emceed it. Got to write some jokes and perform a little bit. And
Nice.
God, like it's so embarrassing how like it's like you're dead inside as a suburban dad, but how great it felt just to get on the mic, be in front of a live audience. This is
Yeah.
just like an MC. I'm just telling a few jokes, but like
Right.
we were at the pool the next day and I was like reading a book and I overheard some girl saying like that guy last
Yes.
night, like he was really funny, and she was reciting one of my jokes and I was like,
Yeah.
oh
Is that what it
my
feels like? Yeah.
oh
Right.
my. I was like, oh my God, like this
Yeah.
in my veins. And then Alex was at work and she was telling her coworkers about it. And she was like, we were very lucky to have a beautiful son, and I've seen, I've taken him to amazing places in LA and took him to NLCS, and we got married. She goes, but it might have been the happiest I've ever seen my
Yeah.
husband in his life. So it was nice reliving some of that, and yeah, ready for 2025. I'm ready to rock, dude. I'm excited we're doing this
Beautiful.
again.
Yeah, let's that's for everybody listening, this is a new initiative for 2025 is YouTube. Obviously, TikTok is going down. Apparently, it's going down with the ship. So,
I can't believe it. Yeah, the Supreme Court just upheld the TikTok ban as of today, January 17th, 2025. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? But as of right now, it will be banned, which
yeah,
is
and
crazy.
like I was
How do you feel? I was going to ask you about that because I think that's interesting. How do you feel about that? How do other content creators feel about that? Like, what's sort of the vibe?
Yeah, I don't really care, honestly. I think the like TikTok is cool. I liked it. I thought it was really cool the ability to
Yeah.
go viral and stuff like that. I thought there was a lot of dumb shit on there that got way too much notoriety that kind of made us stupid and like dumb shit that had 30 million likes. And I'm, objectively, it's fucking stupid. A 30-second, whatever it is, all these dumb little kids doing stuff, no value brought, no educational purposes. It's just a stupid video. So, that being said, I think that's why a lot of these people have millions and millions of followers. I really don't care, dude. I have like 45,000 followers on TikTok. It's a fun app. It's cool. I'm more upset about CapCut. CapCut is owned by the same company, and I use that in my editing process, and that is really going to change things. It made editing a lot easier for me and for a lot of creators. It makes it a lot easier, especially like the premium version that I had. So that really upsets me and worries me because that's my process of how I do everything. So yeah, it's important to diversify, right? Can't just have. I know some people who have like massive followings on TikTok, and they're like, "I'm so fucking cool. I got TikTok," and then they have like 2,000 followers on Instagram. I'm like, dude, you are back to fucking nothing. And all that does is it makes my Instagram worth a lot more now because I have 85,000 followers, and now that TikTok is gone, people are going to come back there. So initiative is YouTube this year. I've done a very good job at short form content, John. I'm crushing it with that, and I know how to do that very well. So let's get into the long form content now, and I think that's going to be in the the realm of podcasts. Things that if you want to talk about, John, we're going to talk about your baseball class. If you wanted to sit in front of the camera and talk about that, and we can upload that to our page, and you can have your own playlist and stuff like that, so people can come and see a longer form of Sheffield Shuffler, of me, of you. It just gives it another, I don't know, another flavor to, because you don't want to put the same shit on every platform. So
Yeah,
that
of
being
course.
that being said, YouTube. Let's get to 1,000 like by like March or opening day. If we can get to 1,000 by opening day, I think it would be huge. We're already at like 616, I believe. So I think 1,000 would be good.
I think that would
Good
be
starting
amazing.
point. So, John, this was exciting news. I was asleep last night, but I woke up to this. A bunch of people, my brother, some other guys tagged me. Cubs new uniforms.
This is how I woke up today with your text, and I didn't even know
Yes.
what you meant. You go, "Oh, Uni's fire," and then I had to go on X, and I was like, "Oh my god, those are
And go
so
and
sick."
see it. It was really exciting. Same thing. Like I woke up to it. Cubs, not City Connects, but just a another alternative jersey. Now, John, you can see my screen, correct?
Yes, I was gonna
Okay.
share it too, but you got it. Yeah. Click the image so it just blows up.
I did, and then it switched.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm just gonna go ahead and play this. I'm gonna put it on silent, and you can see it. John, awesome. In my opinion, I think it looks a lot like the Rangers. There's a guitar pick right there. The guitar pick, the C, the B. It has the influence of electronic blues, where it originated from in Chicago. It's got some of the features here. I know it's not pulling up.
No,
Let me see here.
I saw it,
Oh,
dude.
share this tab instead. There we go. You can see it now, right?
Yeah,
Here we go.
yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, absolutely. It's
So
it's sick. Like the guitar pick, Sweet Home, like Chicago with the lightning bolt.
six strings on a guitar right here.
Six strings. That Cubs logo is sick. The C with the cursive, like the UBS, and
Yeah.
the star, the color, like it's awesome. I'm probably oh god, I Alex doesn't want me to buy any more hats, but even
Yeah,
I
you
sent
have
that to
to.
her today. She goes, "That hat is incredible."
Yeah.
Sick.
Even the lettering on the back, I like the lettering a lot. The
Me
numbers,
too.
the numbers sit up on the chest as opposed to down on the
Yep.
belly, especially a guy with a belly. Appreciate that more that it sits on the pec as opposed to the belly. The guitar pick here, the six strings, the Sweet Home Chicago, I think is so dope. So they just wrote all the stuff here that's incorporated, of course, the blues era of Chicago, Electric Lightning Bolt. Just well done. It's amazing what you can come up with when Nike is not involved. So blue alternate uniforms, and John, we're absolutely getting these hats. I saw them; they were only like $35
No,
on the
we're
MLB
getting
website.
we're getting the hats for sure. And
Yeah.
also the unis, they're going back to the old ones that they had previously that you didn't see sweat through, and the lettering and numbers were normal size and appropriate for a jersey. So that's great too. But these are sick. This is like a win. Like when I saw the City Connect jerseys, I'm like, checks out, awesome. Same here. So it's a home run.
Yeah, it's just great because the Cubs are especially known for really not doing much, right? When the City Connect came out, that was the first kind of update revamp that Cubs jerseys, uniforms, hats all got. And now we get something really cool. And just well done. Who doesn't love baby blue or powder blue? I think it just slaps. I think every fan base loves it regardless of the team.
I know the Phillies do. The
Mhm.
Phillies have so many great. The Phillies probably are some of the best at leveraging their throwback because you have like the usual red and blue, then you have like that dark maroon, then you can go powder blue, and there's so many different logos too with like the maroon Philly P with the ball, and then you have the Liberty Bell. There's so many different
Phil and
variations.
Phyllis, the two
Yeah,
little, yeah.
the color schemes, the throwbacks. I think Philly's great with that. I think the Cubs are are good at it. I think they're getting better and better at it. I think City Connect was a huge jump where I was like, there we go. Like, yeah. And this was awesome. So I'm definitely gonna get duped and get one of those one of those hats for sure, man.
Well, I got the link for us.
Sick.
John, did you hear about the French woman scammed by AI Brad Pitt?
I did hear about it. And it's interesting because for work, I've been tasked with delving into all of these AI sites, AI capability for social media and how it works.
Uh-huh.
It's scary. It's going to change the way we all work. Like it's incredible what it can do. But get into this. This is
This is
fascinating.
probably the lowest level of AI I've ever seen in my life. First off, John, these are the photos just crudely pasted over another body. These are. So here's a story, right? First off, this woman is 53 years old. She's not a geriatric woman, John, right? This isn't a grandma. Maybe she's a grandma. But this isn't a old geriatric person that they're being taken advantage of. You're 53 years old. You should still have the mind to kind of decipher, wait, this doesn't really look right. This doesn't sound right. She was tricked into believing she was dating cancer-stricken Brad Pitt with AI images. She was scammed out of $850,000. Basically, this guy online said, hey, I'm Brad Pitt and I got cancer, and kind of swindled her out of money from her bank account. He said he was getting a divorce from Angelina Jolie, blah, blah, blah. Then she saw Brad Pitt with his girlfriend on TV. She wired him $60,000 to a bank in Turkey. Red flag.
The only way you should be going to Turkey is if you're getting hair plugs. And other than that, that's it.
Looked into that. Absolutely.
It's cheap. It's crazy cheap.
Yeah. So it was over $800,000. If you have over $800,000, John, how can you be that dumb? I understand you're French. You're a French person, so you're just not that intelligent, I guess. Shout out French people.
So here's the issue. She's 53 years old. Okay, you ever seen No Country for Old Men?
Yeah.
These elderly people do not. But I tell this to my dad now, who is on Instagram and now he's retired and he thinks he can, catch up and he thinks he's so cool to be on Facebook. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He is not responsible enough to be on these sites. She's 53 years old. I think if you are above 50 years old, now I'm 37, going to be 38, but I came along right as social media was in its infancy, like in college. But if you're 10 years older than me, if you're 50 and up, you should not, anything TikTok. I think one of the reasons that they're banning TikTok is because old people don't understand it. But I think it's too much for her. She obviously couldn't tell that these were AI generated, clearly pasted, like not organic photos. Like it was so obvious to you and me that it's fake, but older people can't decipher that.
Yeah.
They do not belong. This is a world they do not understand. Therefore, they should not be involved in it. They
I
almost
know.
like should revoke their privileges because
My
they
mom
just
will send
can't
me
handle it.
stuff, and I have to say, "Mom, you know that's fake, right?" And she's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm just like, "Oh
Oh
my
yeah, my dad
god!"
said that
Like,
too. My dad texted me the other morning. He goes, "Did you hear about Jimmy Kimmel?" And I'm like, "No."
yeah,
And he's like, "Oh, he's moving to Canada because Trump's president." I go, "Dad, that's not true." I go, "Where'd you see that?"
yeah,
And then he sent me the site. I go, "Yeah, it's
serious.
fake." I verified it in like half a second.
Yeah,
He's like,
right.
"How'd you do that? How do you know what's true and what's not?" I'm like, "Dad, like
Yeah,
these are not verified sources. Like I
right.
could have posted this. Anyone can upload anything to the internet. Like
That's what they don't
verify your
understand.
sources."
Yes, or take video from another time and relate it to this. Like I've seen, like tanks being transferred on a train, right? And people are like, Trump's ordering tanks from. I'm like, that was like in 2011 from another video, dude. It's really scary though how like manipulating it can be to these older people. And I
Oh
understand
yeah.
that part, John, but I think your dad's smart enough to know, like, hey, if Julia Roberts said, "Hey, big boy, like I have cancer, can you wire me some money?"
No,
He's probably smart enough
this
to,
person is irresponsible, but also like she's dumb. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is
yeah.
the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
So that was
Call
my Momo of the day, or Momo of the week, because it's Friday. So I saw that, I was like, dude, that lady is a Momo, and she's French. So that's the Momo of the day. We'll keep that going every episode. I try to do that on socials as well. John, big weekend divisional round this weekend. We don't have to touch on it because it's old news anyways, but Eagles over the Packers. Uh just give me like 1 minute of kind of how you felt that last game, or going into next season. Go ahead.
Yeah, I I'm gonna try to keep this brief.
Yes, please do.
I did not expect I did not expect them to win this game. I did not.
Sure.
Jordan Love picked the biggest game of the year to have his worst performance. Not ideal. I don't think Philly played very well at all. Like we held and contained Barkley, which was my biggest concern. My other concern was how do we get down the field vertically without Christian Watson? I
It's
thought it
gonna
was
be
going to be
hard.
an uphill battle anyway, but when we lost Watson the week before, there's no way I thought we were going to win.
And
They have
players during the game.
yeah, they have, and we lost literally three of our top wide receivers,
Yeah.
and we fumbled the opening kickoff. So clearly, it wasn't our day. Regardless, the Eagles are a better team. They're a more talented team than we are. So I wasn't super upset about it. It's kind of what I expected. And just timing wise, it didn't work out. The Rams are trending in the right direction. Got healthy at the right time. They were hurt for like the first 9 weeks of the year, and then the
Hmm.
timing just lined up. That happened with the Packers in the 2010 Super Bowl when they were the sixth seed and just ran the table.
Right.
So, just not our year. Love has to get better. I think it's a small sample size. His numbers are still pretty good, but you're getting paid that much money, and you're the
Hmm.
franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Like they stopped the run and they stopped Jacobs. You got to make some plays. You got
You're
to
also
run.
going against the number one defense in the
I
NFL.
get
That
it.
was where I give him some kind of
I get it.
relief, at least.
I
Yeah.
get it, but you can't be that. You can't play that poorly. You just can't. It's
Sure.
unacceptable.
Well, turning the ball over, you're not going to win.
You
That
can't.
many
Yeah,
times.
absolutely. But I did think he had to take some shots because he's been really conservative without turning the ball over previously. But I said against this defense, you're gonna have to take some shots. That first pick that he threw down the sideline, forget the defensive back for Philly that caught it near the sideline. It was like a
Slay.
bomb.
Darius
Slay.
Slay.
Slay Jr. Yeah, it was an awesome play. That's not on him, and I was actually happy that he was aggressive. But everything else was on him, and that's just unacceptable. So I think what I'm kind of happy about is now LaFleur has had a pretty big enough sample size where he's on the hot seat now. He's not only does he have to get into playoffs, he has to go deep in the playoffs. He's been in a couple of NFC Championship games. He's got the quarterback. He needs to go deep in the playoffs, and if he doesn't, there people are going to start asking questions, especially after this next year, which I think is appropriate. And last thing I'll say about Love, I think 2 years is a small sample size, but he really needs to step up his game, and this year will be pretty evident to see, like, is this guy a franchise quarterback or
Sure.
did they miss? That's it.
All right. We have football this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I have my outlier pulled up here. Shout out outlier. This is honestly, John, like I get paid sometimes to like promote shit, obviously, but this outlier is seriously like the best app for sports betting stuff, hands down. They gave me a free subscription like a year ago, and
Sweet.
it's going to like go up in March, and I gotta like ask them again, be like,
I
hey,
download
can
the app.
I? Yeah, it costs like $300 a year. Like it's like expensive because all this data.
Whoa.
It's really, I mean, it really helps with when you're looking at bets and stuff. So honestly, like, and they're not paying me at anything. I'm trying to get in. I'm like, guys, I would promote this because I do love your app. So this is what
And
it is,
helps.
John. We got,
And you're saying it would help people that, like, I'm not an advanced better as you are, but this would help someone who is new to betting. Is that what you're saying?
yes. So let's take a look here. Houston versus Kansas City, right? We have the money line, we have the spread, we have the over under. Let's look at Houston plus 8.5. You press this little graph right here and it pulls up all this information. So this is the stat for this game that I wanted to put out. Texans have covered 8.5 points in 9 of their last 10 games. Chiefs have covered minus 8.5 points in 2 of their last 10 games. Chiefs suck against the spread. They're covering in 3 of their last 10, 3 out of 6 against the spread in their last 9 games as a favorite. So, John, you can see here they haven't they have covered this number in their last 9 out of 10 games. So Houston plus 8.5, I really love. Kansas City wins games very closely, as you know. You watch the Chiefs, but it just kind of breaks down. It will show you this information. There's the insight from there. They're 3-6 against the spread as their last 9 as a favorite. Breaks down key matchups. This information is really good. I'm gonna bring it up in a later game as well. But you can see the offense and defense for each side. You can switch it. First downs, yards per play. So it's really helpful when you're looking at, betting stuff.
That's awesome. So they're taking KC by 8.5, 9 points.
They're not taking him. This is just information for you to use. They're saying this here is saying Houston is covering 8.5, 9 out of their last 10 games. So you can look at last 10. You can look at over the full year. Look at the full year.
Oh, I see. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So for this game, that's what I like. I like Texans plus 8.5. I don't have the balls to take them on the money line, and I'm not looking at any prop bets in this game, but I would like Texans with 8.5 points for sure against a Chiefs team that wins games very closely.
I know, but do you think with I almost feel like they've been keeping Kelsey in the garage, like with the hood over, like the cover over the hood. They got the bye week, and then maybe he just comes out like just a beast, and they just Mahomes can score so easily and so quickly. They just haven't this year. But if anyone could turn it on like with a snap of a finger, it's him. And I also think they haven't really let Kelsey loose yet. And I don't even that could happen. I don't know.
Look at this. Let's look at the Texans defense. 4th in sacks, 5th in turnovers, 4th in yards per play, 2nd in tackles for loss. So defense pretty solid on the Texans front. And then obviously, we know the Chiefs offense is very good as well, but our Texans defense is nothing to shake your finger at.
It's amazing how well the Chiefs have did their record for how crappy they've played.
Yeah.
And I saw them play against the Raiders. I've watched a couple of their games. They have not impressed me once. And it's basically come down to the last quarter, and Mahomes does 2 or 3 Mahomes things that no one else can do, and that's how they win.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Coaching when the game is close and your quarterback when the game is close, I think those are the 2 biggest factors.
I agree. Yeah. I always thought coaching was the most important in football, and I still agree. It's opposed to like basketball, players, baseball, front office, putting a team together. Football, I always said it was coaching, but I think now you probably have to say coaching and the quarterback.
100%.
I think they go. I think they go hand in hand now.
So obviously we all want to see the Chiefs lose, right?
100%.
Yes, we're all on that train. Commanders versus Lions. The line is set at 9.5. Commanders, when they're spotted 9.5 points, they have covered that number in every game this season except for week 1. So Commanders, given 9.5 points, have covered that number every single week except for week 1. I do like the Commanders here with the points as well, 9.5. John,
I agree.
what are you liking in this game?
I think Jaden Daniels is a stud.
He can really make a statement here, even just by making it very difficult for Detroit.
I don't think the Lions. Frankly, I think the Lions wanted to play the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Lions wanted Washington. I think it gives them a lot of problems. They have problems with quarterbacks that can run, and I think Daniels is an absolute. I know he's a rookie. I think he's incredible. I think he's an absolute stud. I think the Lions. I'm picking the Lions to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. I think they could lose this game if they were gonna. I don't think they'll lose against Philly, and I don't think they would lose against the Rams. But I think they could lose this game, mostly because of the play of Daniels.
The Lions, you're saying?
Yeah, I do.
For me, John, the only way that the Commanders win this game is if the Commanders' offense keeps up with the Lions. That's the only way that's happening.
But also, like extending drives, like him convert, like with the third down conversions for Washington, it's going to be everything because it's going to keep their offense off the field.
Sixth. Third down conversions, they're ranked 6th in the lead going against the number 1.
That might be the game right there.
Who wins that battle? The third down conversion win rate?
I think that's it. Because you're right. They're not going to be able to stay with – they're going to have to stay with them offensively, and one of the best ways to do that is keep them off the field.
Yeah.
Because Goff takes forever. His drives are so long. They don't score quickly. There's long drives. Ben Johnson has a very –
just like the Eagles, right?
Distinct plan. Yeah. Ugh, God, dude. Jalen sustained drives. That game. I can't believe we lost. He was terrible.
Long sustained drives. So yes. I like Washington with the points there. How great would it be if they beat Detroit, man?
It would be awesome. This is the game. I mean, no offense to Philly. I'm going to watch every game. This is the game I'm looking forward to the most, honestly.
Okay.
I'm most excited about this game.
I'm not even most excited for the Eagles game. I'm most excited for, we'll get to it, the other one. All right, so John, this game, you taking, do you have an upset? Do you think there's going to be an upset this week?
Well, this would be an upset.
Right, yeah. So are you taking Commanders then? You're saying the Commanders.
This is my upset of the week. I'm taking Commanders. I think the Chiefs will beat Houston. I think 100%. I think it's in Philly, right, against LA.
It is.
I think Philly wins. I think it's close. I think Philly wins. Also, the weather is going to be crap. And speaking from experience,
Stafford sucks
outside, especially since he's gone to LA. Every time he's come to Green Bay, he's been horrible. He sucks outside. Goff, too. None of them are that great. Goff's gotten a little bit better, but particularly Stafford is terrible outside. So I'm picking Philly. That's close. And then the other game, what's the other game?
Ravens versus the Bills. Yeah. That's the game I'm most excited for.
Yeah, you're right. That's probably the best matchup. And that's in Buffalo.
It is in Buffalo.
I'm taking Josh Allen. Just because I think it's his time. And until Lamar, I know they're both like
Lamar shits the bed when the lights are brightest. I don't care how many MVPs you won. I don't care how great the regular season was. But historically, when the lights are brightest in the biggest games of the season in the playoffs, Lamar doesn't come through.
I agree, and I think until I see different, and they're home, that crowd's going to be nuts. I'm picking Allen. I just am.
John, I was at the AFC Championship game last year. If you remember the Ravens versus the Chiefs, I was there last year. The Ravens ran the ball 2 times in the second half because they were down and they abandoned the run. Bad idea. Then they depended on Lamar Jackson to throw and then use his own legs as well. So as long as they don't abandon the run, you can't. I don't think you can force Lamar to say, hey, Lamar, we need you to make these big throws for the second half, because I think that's too much pressure on him. He kind of collapses, like from what we've seen, and until I see different, like you said, and this is the stat that I was going to bring up in this game. This is the best matchup. Bills rank 9th in passing yards. Ravens 31st in passing yards against. So I am liking props in this game. I'm liking Khalil Shakir for a touchdown. For the Bills, they get him the ball quick. He has the most yards after carry in football, or it was earlier in the season. He had it very fast. Khalil Shakir for a touchdown, and I do like the Bills over the Ravens.
I like the Bills over the Ravens. I think honestly they should take somewhat of a conservative approach with Lamar, like throw but high percentage, like screen passes, a lot of read options, and you ride Derrick Henry. Mm-hmm. I mean, 25 to 30 carries at least in this game. You pound the rock, especially on the road in that environment. That could wear them down, keep them on the field. And then Lamar, if you get a lot of third and shorts, you could do a ton of stuff. You could run Henry. You could do an RPO with Lamar. You give him a ton of options. Where you don't want Lamar is 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12. If you see a lot of that, they're screwed. And then the other thing with Allen, I don't think Allen is going to lose this game. I just think, like Mahomes, Allen will do something late in the game.
And to put the team on his back.
Just put it on his back, and he's like, fuck it, I'll take it myself. I won't lose this game. And with Lamar, I see he's not all the way in. I see some hesitancy with him. I see he's a little in between. He's a little unsure. And I think he lacks some confidence in these games, where Allen, he's going for it. And he may screw up, but I think Allen isn't afraid to fail. And I think Lamar in these games is. And that comes through with some of the indecision or the tentativeness or the indecisiveness. And Allen isn't like that. Allen's not afraid to make a mistake.
He has the gunslinger mentality.
Yeah.
The Jay Cutler, I'm going to fucking squeeze it in there because
or run it. Or just take on a linebacker myself to get this 3rd and 2. Yeah. And I just don't think Allen is going to lose at home. I don't think he will lose this game. And I have questions about Lamar. Now, if Henry's rolling, that's a different story, but they're gonna make Lamar throw. They're gonna make him read. They're gonna spy him. They're not gonna let him beat them with his legs. And that's been his Achilles heel. So we'll see. I'm taking the Bills.
Taking the Bills as well. So we got Bills, we got Eagles. You're taking Commanders. I think the Lions do pull it out. And then I would go Texans over the Chiefs just because I want to see that. And I think that's one of the more possible upsets. So I got Texans upsetting the Chiefs. You got Commanders upsetting the Lions.
100%.
Let's see them both happen. All right, John. So we got that done. Let's get back to baseball. John, one of the biggest free agents out there is Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso not going back with the Mets, and why Scott Boras sucks. All right, Alonso was offered $3 million, $68 to $70 million with opt-outs. He turned that down. That was slightly more than what Christian Walker got. Alonso is also linked to the Blue Jays, Giants, and Angels. John, what are the Mets, and what's the situation with Mets and Alonso here? Because the way I see it is Scott Boras is a greedy fuck, and the Mets called him out on his bluff. He said, we don't want to take that deal. Fine. You're going to sit around, and I don't think you're getting a better offer from anybody else. And we're less than a month away from spring training for pitchers and catchers. So I don't like Scott Boras. I think he's everything that's wrong with baseball, and this is a prime example. And Alonso just hired him too. He hasn't been Alonso's agent for more than a year. He signed him very recently, and then this is your first free agency, and this is what's going on.
Yeah, I don't think Scott Boras is good for the game of baseball. I think he's an excellent agent for his clients.
Businessman, right?
In fact, I think he's incredible. I'll never forget when they Cubs signed Bellinger, and he was at the press conference, and he basically broke down the trends of baseball and why his bat to ball skills and the ability to make contact is actually not just undervalued, but will increase in value as power continues to surge. And he was very eloquent in how he explained it. And after I listened to that, I was like, this is very impressive from an agent and not someone from the front office, really breaking this down, understanding the analytics and the market and the trends and where baseball's going. So I'm going to side with Boras on this. I definitely think he knows what he's doing. As he waits and other guys get hurt and people have needs, after taking this baseball analytics class, I've learned a couple of things. One,
we didn't talk about that.
Well, we can talk about it. But
all right, after this.
One, all teams have money. Not all teams want to spend it until they have to have it. There's a need. And I think waiting, Boras is smart. He's gonna get the best deal for his client. So I think waiting until
more often than not, because there are instances
someone has a need, and then he's gonna be like, well, if you really want him, this is what you're gonna get. And Pete's fine, and he's going to Pete saying, we wait. You want the best deal? You want this 3-4
that has always not
90
been the best,
or $100 million? You wait. Someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to have a need. Your skill set is too valuable where I will get you the money. You just may not show up. Like, keep working out and practicing and making sure your skills are up or, ready to go. Because you might get signed on March 25th. But if you're willing to wait, I can get you this as long as you're pretty open to all these other teams. I think Alonso's a capitalist. I think he wants the biggest deal possible. He's really competitive too, so it's also like, I want the best deal possible with a team that can win. I don't think he'd do like a Chris Bryant where he take the most money and then go to the Rockies. I don't think he'll do that. I think he's too competitive for that. But I do think he will wait, and I think Boras will end up winning in the end. So I think this is a smart move to decline that offer because I think you get more.
I don't think so. I think Scott Boras is being called out on his bluff by the Mets. The Mets go ahead and pivot. They say we'll go ahead and get Jesse Winker, and now we're also looking at free agent closers and other relievers. He kind of he's job is to set the market, obviously, but it has backfired on him. What was that, 2 seasons ago when we had how many players not even report to camp, not even report to a spring training camp because he had to wait. They signed for less money. Even back to when I think it was Mike Moustakas did the same thing with the Royals. Some years, and sometimes it just backfires because these teams are willing to call you on your bluff, and then that's it. You know. We're getting close to spring training here, and he has no affiliation with the team. The Mets are already moved on, so they are making plans. What is Alonso's plan here? Blue Jays, Giants, and Angels. Those are the 3 other teams that are connected to him. The Blue Jays still have Vladdy, right? Vladdy he's being talked to as well. They're looking at packages. I don't know if you saw the Blue Jays already put out what kind of packages that they're looking for, very similar to what Soto did when he went to the Padres. Giants and Angels as well. So I guess we'll see. I mean, I'm not a fan of Pete Alonso. I thought it would make the most sense to go back to the Mets, but I don't know. Did you get the thing I sent you? I sent you the photos. Fuck, did I delete it? Oh, there they are.
Where'd you send me them?
Notable free agents, dude. These are still closers that we have on the free on the free or the market. Kirby Yates, Tanner Scott, Carlos Estevez, AJ Minter, and David Robertson. These aren't just schmucks, man. These are elite closers. Tanner Scott was one of the most sought after closers in baseball. Kirby Yates, Carlos Estevez, he was here with the Phillies. I wasn't crazy about him, but AJ Minter, sick mullet.
Minter was a huge part of their World Series win in 21.
Yes.
And Robertson still, I know he's older, but he's
very relevant.
He's great. He's still really, really
12.4 Ks per 9. That's nuts.
Yeah. So 72 innings pitched at his age. That's awesome.
Right.
But he's really in shape. He takes care of himself. Like he's he's like in impeccable shape. His workout regimen's pretty intense.
Yeah, we follow the same one.
Yeah,
Kirby
it looks like
Yates.
it.
Yeah, and Tanner Scott, dude. I'm excited to see where Tanner Scott goes. They were. I just saw an article today that talked about the Mets linking Tanner Scott to him. If they got Tanner Scott with Edwin Diaz, and then they have Clay Holmes. I know Clay Holmes is going to be a starter, but even if that doesn't work out, man, that bullpen's nasty. So interesting to see where these guys fall. I don't know who their agents are, but I'm curious to know.
Yeah, it's it's really interesting with this baseball analytics class. So I in my final week of this baseball analytics class. The instructor is the assistant director of baseball operations for the Arizona Diamondbacks, Max Phillips. He's awesome, and I've learned so much, not just evaluating hitter profiles, pitching, delving deep into analytics, but also like where does a player fit? How do you evaluate a player, and then how much do you offer them, contractually? And I brought up it's really interesting in how they look for relievers and what they'll spend on and what money can buy and what money can't buy. Like where can data and analytics come in where you don't have money? The Rays are phenomenal at that because it's almost out of necessity. They have a completely different style because they have to, and some other clubs don't necessarily have to do that because they have the money.
Mm-hmm.
But you do need both because if you look at the Yankees, they paid their way kind of to a World Series just getting a bunch of sluggers. But in the end, it's not just slugging, it's defense, base running, and the ability to put the ball in play. So I think these are all viable relievers. I definitely think they will get picked up.
Oh, yeah, it's just a matter of time. I mean,
it's just a matter of time. But I wanted to talk to you about this analytics class. I think it's been so neat, dude. It's just been incredible. The Kyle Tucker arbitration thing. We learned about arbitration. We learned about contracts, and I asked our instructor. I was like, "Hey, this now they settled on 16.5 million, but to avoid arbitration. But essentially, the Cubs came in at 15 million, and Tucker's camp came in at 17.5 million. So there's a $2.5 million difference. And you're the Chicago Cubs, and the Yankees have a license to print money. The Cubs have no problems with revenue. And so I asked him, I'm like, why would you squabble over a measly $2.5 million and create all this ill will if you want to have a chance at signing this guy with a long-term extension? Why would you do that? And he goes, actually, $2.5 million is a massive difference in this case. And the reason for that is, he goes, first of all, the Rahifo for the Angels is being taken to arbitration for just $15,000. And he goes, the reason for that is, and the reason how we create contracts is we look at what the market's paying, what comps, like what is this guy paying? And then how does their metrics stack up with them? And then really big thing is age, like how old are you and what the trajectory is like there. And then also what position do you play? And is your skills going to atrophy more over here versus, first base or something like that? It's one of the reasons they moved Bryce Harper to first base. And he goes, if you give in on this $2.5 million, the next guy in arbitration is going to look at that Kyle Tucker deal and be like, I want 3. He goes, so it sets a precedent for everything else. So you got, and they clearly settled on 1.5. He goes, that's a huge win for Tucker. Like, that's incredible. They must really, he goes, even though they didn't meet him where he wanted, the fact that they went up $1.5 million is huge. And it tells Tucker. So people are pissed off about this, like Chicago Sports Talk Radio. And I'm listening to Max, who works in the industry, and he's like, no, Tucker's happy about that. Like, that's a huge win for him. He's going to CubsCon and everything. So it's been really cool. The final project
I was going to say real quick, John, is like, I don't think that they have any chance of re-signing him. They're not going to do it this season. He's a Boras agent. Or Boras is his agent.
I agree.
He's going to go to free agency. So I don't see the real like, oh, we're embarrassing ourselves. what does it matter? Because he's going to be there for a year, and then he's going to go test free agency. And you know the Cubs, they're not going to extend him the highest offer. So he's going to be there for this upcoming season, and that's it, if we're being realistic. So why would you pay him anymore? Giving like, oh, we'll give you more money now in hopes that you're going to come back. You're not coming back. You're going to test free agency.
I completely agree. And it sucks, like, just knowing an organization so well where, like, the Cubs have the money, they just won't pay it. Similar, like, if you're a Chicago Bears fan and knowing that they have the money to pay Ben Johnson, but they're going to hire Mike McCarthy, which is so perfect. It's the Bearsiest thing I've ever heard. But I digress. We're talking about baseball. Anyway, I want to talk about my final project. So my final project is taking a guy who's undervalued, or someone who you think is undervalued, and then finding a place for him that he really fits. And we have to explain, like, through all these metrics, like who, like the player, like why they're undervalued, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, where's the best fit, and then based off all these skills, where do they best fit, and what would you offer and what type of contract? And I'm presenting that next week. Do you want to know the player?
Yes.
Stephen Kwan.
Okay, with the Guardians.
With the Guardians. But if you look at his metrics, not only
it's on base more than anybody else in baseball.
But yes, incredible. So like base running, defense, arm, outs above average. I can get into all the gory math and analysis, but his weighted, his WOBA, expected on base average, like he's incredible, and he's such a good player. And if you look, he's 27. He just signed a 1-year deal with the Guardians, so they're not going to keep him long term. And what do the Yankees need? They need someone who knows how to run the bases and can play defense and can make contact and can get on base. These are all the things that they need that really prevented them from winning the World Series. After you heard like what the Dodgers before that series, Friedman and the whole front office looked at them and they're like, this is such a mismatch. This team, we're going to crush this team because they don't run the bases well. They strike out, they don't make contact, and they're not good defensively, and they're not positioned well defensively either because they're not really athletic.
Right.
We are going to kill them, and that's exactly what happened. So Kwan, the pitch is going to the Yankees, and also he's a very no-nonsense, business-like personality, which really fits with their culture, like real clean-cut, determined, wants to win, not really a kind of a silly, goofy guy, and I think it's a good
like
clubhouse
a scrappy kind of undersized player.
But all of his stats, like in his home runs too, you're seeing a power surge with him too, and it's not a ton, but it is increasing. And with the short porch in right field, you look at expected home runs, like what he would hit. Like Isaac Paredes is an example that they used, where if he played in Houston versus Chicago,
with that,
he'd have like 20. Yeah, he'd have like 20 more home runs or whatever, which was one of the reasons he went to Houston. So you look at all of that, and so putting that together, and it's been awesome. It's been such a cool class. I'm excited to present. So it's been really neat.
Nice, man. Well, good luck with that. That's gonna be awesome.
Dude.
All right, I think that was it. We're at 47 minutes. Last thing, just rest in peace, Bob Uecker. Bob Uecker. I think every fan base wants to have a representative very similar to what he is. Vin Scully to the Dodgers, Bob Uecker to the Brewers. It's very hard to find guys that are so ingrained with the MLB organization and that represent them in an awesome way. And he was definitely one of those guys, a great guy around the game, Bob Uecker, who is from Illinois, by the way. And people in Milwaukee love Bob Uecker and they hate the state of Illinois, but he is from Illinois.
No, and in a sport where you can have guys be really stiff, baseball, he's not only was he a great broadcaster, but he's just so naturally funny. I mean, Johnny Carson in the Tonight Show had him on all the time, and like Johnny Carson's one of the greatest comedians of all time, and Bob Uecker, a former baseball player, is going toe to toe with him. Riffing, punching back, hitting him, taking it, hitting him back, like one of the quickest, sharpest minds. And then obviously so funny in the Major League movies. But he was I was watching a clip with him and he said, for all the movies and stuff like that, he goes, my love has always been baseball and broadcasting. And that's that's really what I think of me first. And I thought that was really awesome. Like just a breath of fresh air and just a great personality that the sport really needed and we've all benefited from.
Amen, brother.
R.I.P.
All right. R.I.P. Bob. All right, that is episode 1, season 2. It's January 17th. John, we're going to start doing these more often. So we'll pick a day and we need to just be more scheduled with it because I want to, like I said, new initiative this year, YouTube. So
Sounds good, brother.
podcasts. We got to hit.
I got the audio already set up. I got a new USB adapter. So
Yeah, dude, no cuts today.
We'll have no audio issues going forward. I fixed it.
It was really good. It was a smooth one today. Much appreciated. Our listeners appreciate it.
New year, new audio.
All right, brother. Thanks, guys, for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with another episode of Chef's Kiss.
Peace.